Welcome to the Golden Nuggets.
This podcast is brought to you by Reka Studio. If you are struggling with creating content because you have no time, you don't know how to, and you are lacking of ideas, this is for you. For just $1, here's how Reka Studio can create 8 reels for you for 1 whole month. And the best part is, it'll only take 3 hours of your time. First, the Reka team researches your industry and creates a custom content guide, including everything from the best SEO keywords, top videos in your niche, and the best topics for you to speak on to connect with your audience. Secondly, we have a recording process that allows us to record high quality videos that looks professional and it'll only take minutes to set up. Thirdly, our team handles all the editing, so each video holds your audience attention while still being authentic. Fourth, our team will schedule the post to your selected platforms on autopilot. And the best part is, all this for just $1 to get you started. We can only slot in 5 more clients, so visit tgnpodcast.com/Reka to find out more. Terms and conditions apply. Nuggets, back to the episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Golden Nuggets podcast. Today, before that, my name is Nazreen and I have my co-host, Amir. Today we have a special guest. Well, every week we have a special guest because a guest is where we interview and get our content from. And today, especially today, this particular guy I met in one of the networking sessions, I think a few years back, if I'm not wrong. In Internet Business Fixer. Shout out to IBM, shout out to Hui Fang who invited me. I met him there and get to know what he did. And then back then we haven't started the podcast yet. But through time we learn and exchange to, many encounters that, podcast is actually something that people in Singapore must do. And he is regarded as the podsmith. He offers podcast as a service, B2B, and there's more to come. And we have today Mr. Edric Poon. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Really, I love the fact that you have a great setup over here. It's very inspiring for somebody who's been like bootstrapping podcasting for so long. It almost feels like it's, I'm watching everybody just grow and improve in their podcasting, their setup. And again, you don't have to use super expensive stuff to get a good quality thing. But as you grow with your podcast, you start to invest a little bit more. So that's the way you're going, and so happy to see see all of you.
Yeah. Edric, for our listeners out there who don't know you, how would you, I wouldn't say identify as the word because
we just talked about it.
Yeah, we just talked about that. But how do you introduce yourself to people when people want to get to know you?
Well, honestly, what I do is I'm very passionate about podcasting. That's number one. Okay. Secondly, is that what I bring to the table is how can I help you develop your personal branding, connect with an audience more authentically, and bring this out to the masses, to the channels that you need. Right. Again, I like what you rightly mentioned, I focus very much on the B2B side. So I'm not a B2C social media content creator. That's number one. What I do is I actually marry podcast concepts with content marketing, social media plans, and do an overall content strategy, right? But because I love podcasts so much, I'm very biased. Okay. So I would always say, start with a podcast and get your name out there first. Okay. Very simply put, if you don't have a name or a brand, this is the place to start developing your digital assets or your digital real estate, right? It's out there, so people can see you. You make yourself more searchable, more Googleable, right? If you already do have a brand, now you can have the opportunity to leverage on this to connect with a wider audience that is somewhat unknown to you. You have to be able to do all these things and tap an untapped market that's even unknown to you. So that's, to me, where I come from. And at the end of the day, long story short, people ask me, what do you do? I say, I podcast for a living. And I help people build podcasts. That's all.
Who is your inspiration in this industry?
Wow. Of course, I would tell you that the first podcast that I did listen to, right, very much was, of course, Joe Rogan was one of them, right? Wow. Everybody starts with Joe Rogan, I think, in general, right? So
6 hours.
Yeah, everybody wants to do 4 hours, 6 hours. Yeah. Right? It's been done.
Yes.
Right? Tried it, not easy. But then you also start to look into other things, because it was never really about who was the best podcaster out there. There's Rich Roll, there's all these other guys, right, who are doing it. But I was also very much into enjoying stand-up comedy, entertainment, late night talk show hosts. So the idea was, how do I marry all of this together and understand what makes a good production in that sense, right? As a podcast, as a listener, how different is that from us sitting there and watching TV, like whoever is watching right now? How does that actually work? What's the dynamic between you and me, right? On you and us.
Yeah.
It's so different when we talk about podcasting versus what we've seen. I mean, growing up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, wherever you are, how you consume your content is so different visually than it is orally, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Share with us about your background. Like, how was your childhood like? And which school do you go to?
Shall I lie down a little bit more?
Yeah.
You want to talk about my father as well?
Yeah, sure.
I suppose that's what this couch is here for, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So now that we're okay, so thanks for joining our therapy session, everybody. I was born in the 80s, right? With I've got basically a family of four, right? Really simple, but cut to the chase. Childhood wasn't bad. Wasn't really bullied as a child, and I don't have much
Sob stories.
Yeah, I don't have much of a sob story.
Okay.
Right. But what was, I would say, has always been interesting was that growing up, strangely enough, the first entertainment piece that really captivated me was when Michael Jackson was still, I would say,
Alive.
Alive was one thing,
Performing.
right? He was performing, yes,
Okay.
in the public, right, in a positive way.
Okay.
Let's put it
I
that
get
way.
it. Yeah.
Okay, and he was loved by millions and all that. And I was like, wow, how does this person, one person alone, right, capture the entire audience? I was
Yes.
like blown away.
Yeah.
Then after that, I started going into music as we all do. Picked up the guitar, learning, and like first tunes are like Hotel California and all that stuff, right? Then I start looking at rock stars. Bon Jovi, Dio, especially Ronnie James Dio. He's like the smallest guy on stage, but he controls everything so well. And you look at Steven Tyler, you look at
Aerosmith, yeah.
Aerosmith, yeah. You look at Metallica, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even just like James Hetfield in the front. He's able to do that. But when you look at Lars Ulrich in the back with the drums,
yeah.
like even when the spotlight shines on him, he's there. And then you watch, Foo Fighters, like Dave Grohl,
Yeah.
breaks his leg, he's still on stage. You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, man.
Then when you're watching all this, the inspiration is always there to think about, is it really about the entertainment? It's partly entertainment, it's partly self-fulfilling, but is that, how do I control the audience? Then stand-up comedy comes in. You watch Robin Williams, you watch, all of them have different styles. Joe Rogan, Robin Williams. You look at even Rowan Atkinson, back in the day,
Yeah.
right? He's able to stand up and just control all of that, right? Rick Gervais. So you see the differences. And all this kind of just became this crazy mishmash of ideas and how we can then create a more diverse styles, right? So we're never fixed to one style in that way, and we can learn a lot more. So that was really part of the influence of I would say how I'm looking at different styles of podcasting and looking to keep experimenting with different ones. Yeah. So sorry, I diverted a lot. Diverted a lot from the question of growing up, right?
Yeah.
But so that was really the stuff that I was into. So this is where it gets tough, I think, because a lot of people probably feel the same way. That was my dream when I was young. I wanted to be a talk show host. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be someone on stage. I wanted to be an entertainer, right? I wanted to be a rock star, live that lifestyle, right? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, whatever it was, right? But look at me, I'm not exactly that. Okay, I'm not that, right? So we get into the system. We learn in a certain way. We get stuck in a box. So what's the first thing that you do? You go study. You do your thing. I got a diploma in mechanical engineering. Why?
Okay.
Because I didn't know any better. I mean, it's not because there's nothing wrong with it, nothing bad with it, but everybody who I knew was saying, Edric, go and do something in the media. Go and do mass communications. I was like, nah. I want to work with my hands. I want to do something, whatever.
Okay.
So I thought going into engineering was good. First year, I was like, oh, good Lord, this is The worst experience of my life. I did not fit in. I could not understand anything. I started regretting my choices. Should I still stay or should I go?
Go. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll go for mass communications. I'll reapply to a different polytechnic. And can I get in? I tried, kind of, but again, no preparation, no understanding of what I needed, no intention of actually changing. I was too stuck in my comfort zone. I was too stuck in the box.
Okay,
Failed.
but would you say you are too stuck, or were you just too young?
I think I was young, dumb, and full of ignorance.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't know any better. Didn't even prepare for the interview. Look, let's put it this way: went to mass communications. First things that during that time, they were pushing for journalism. I didn't know that. So I thought, okay, I'll just do some TV stuff. Right?
Okay.
Right? Because I wanted to do the entertainment thing. Right? I said, maybe I'll do TV stuff. Come back. They interview me and they ask, okay, tell me about the 3 news articles that you've read. I'm like,
Okay.
okay, at the age of 17, have I read anything in the newspaper? I was like, okay, newspapers. What have I seen? Let's see. Life section. Life section. What have I seen? Comic strips.
Wait, Straits Times.
Well, it is the Straits Times, but it's the life section.
Yeah.
So that's the only part of the newspaper that I would read. And I got nothing from it, except Garfield's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, but moving forward, I flunked the interview, and I thought to myself, okay, it's not going to work out. So, did that, finished the diploma, sucked it up, did it.
So that means you finish your mechanical engineering diploma.
Yeah. I'm not the PhD the poly halfway dropout. I didn't do that. I just went ahead and
Clear it.
finished it. But then again, stuck. Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do with life. So as a guy, don't know what to do with life. Finish the diploma. What do you do?
Go NS.
Sign on.
Oh, sign on.
I signed
Oh,
on.
you sign on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I took a short contract. Learned. Very good time of my life, I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're starting out, money's pretty good.
Yeah.
You lead a disciplined lifestyle. You learn a lot of things.
Yep.
All right, but you again too young to understand. How would I say? Progression. Too young to understand how to progress in my career. Right, I didn't see it as a career. It's just like day to day. So again, didn't know what to do. 3 years later, done, finish. Come out, use the gratuity to do a degree in mass communications. Finally, you see Google one big circle, right? Just to do that. Did that, majored in PR and communications.
Okay.
Nice.
And then once again, didn't know what to do with it. Should I go to an agency? I don't know. First thing, something told me, okay, why don't you try and follow in your father's footsteps? Okay, so this is where I need to lie on the couch again. Your father is your first superhero, right? In that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So he has a sales background. I was thinking, okay, I might as well give it a shot. So then, since then, I just did sales and account management. But again, very much like what I mentioned as a student, I was a complete misfit because I'm the worst salesperson in the world. Because I will sell you something that will only benefit you.
Okay.
So it's not about the company making revenue. It's about whether or not it works for you and it's useful to you and it helps you specifically.
Okay.
If it doesn't, I don't want to sell it to you.
Yeah.
So which means that a lot of companies will probably have those that I work for could not get good deals because I didn't want to do
Yes.
that. It wasn't about
Right.
the company.
Right.
Right. But somehow or other, I keep getting hired. So this maybe the talking helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. You speak well. I mean, that's probably from the PR, right?
But that's interesting because when you say that you feel like you're not a good salesperson because you know that the only thing you must sell is something that will benefit them. But generally, I mean, in a way, you are generalizing a lot of salespeople out there are not really doing the ethical thing.
I would say that, okay, this is a great question because now ethical is, again, very subjective.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not for me to say or for you to say. Or it's down to the individual of whether or not, can I sleep well at night if I know that I'm making money hand over fist? Because if that's your value system and you can accept that, by all means, go ahead, make all the money in the world. Maybe I'm just not one of those people that see money as the top tier thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. We have to survive. We have to make money to live, to eat, to perhaps find little luxuries in life to enjoy ourselves. But I can't live with myself, and I cannot sleep well at night knowing that I may have taken too much out of this person, especially when we talk to all the small business owners, right? That you're taking so much hard work that has been put in just to take those few dollars extra from that person. It's very hard for me to do that because I empathize with that a lot. You know, money is not money is not easy to come by.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be taken for granted, like, oh, I can really make money hand over fist like that. So to me, it's my own principle. I cannot do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you were doing sales.
Yeah. I did sales.
What kind of industry were you doing sales
Oh my
in?
gosh, it was such a man. I did telesales for 9 months after I graduated. So again,
On the phone.
on the phone, just constantly
Cold
calling
call.
people. You know, clocking hours and hours a day of talk time just to try and get an appointment, sell seats at the conference, sell training packages, all that, right? Then moving on, I did sales and account management in print, design, branding.
Okay.
Then I went into tourism to do corporate
Tourism.
sales, and then I finished off before starting up my own small business in the exhibitions and conferences and some leadership coaching. So it's a wide array of things, and
Yeah.
and I would say that some people probably be thinking you don't know what you want, is it? I was like, yeah, I agree with you if you're actually thinking that. Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah.
All I was looking at was just a paycheck. How can I move from one paycheck to another to get a little bit higher, and try and enjoy myself as I'm going along? But in retrospect, man, I tell you, that particular journey, it's so interesting to see it in a different light when I just told myself this, that I'm being paid to learn something.
Yes.
So I've managed to jump from industry to industry just to learn something new and gain all this experience that many people may not get. So which
Yeah.
means that, so
Agree.
it's a complete reframing of that. And I think it's been very beneficial since then.
So in retrospect, what skills or what soft skills do you think you acquired from your journey to allow you to have a head start in when you are starting your business?
Well, as you can tell, it's probably humility is probably one of them, and irony. Okay, but but jokes aside, I think the skill sets that I learned from corporate specifically, right, was structure.
Structure.
Yes, structure means so much in starting a business. I believe I am not the best person to talk about this at all because I'm still learning from even gentlemen like yourselves. So many people out there, right? But for me, it was structure. No understanding, right? How different, because of the corporate structures that we've seen, how the different roles in the company play a part in each one. Interestingly enough, right, when we're inside a corporate or a company, operations will always say, why is sales doing this? Why is sales promising this stuff? It cannot be done.
Yeah.
Right? And sales is like going, operations, why are you not flexible? How come we cannot do this, cannot do that, right?
Yeah.
So there's all this. But and of course, marketing is always being shit on by everybody. Let's put it that way. Like that, you guys are a cost center, you're not a revenue driver, blah, 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 blah. Things like that are said internally. But when you zoom out and you run your own business, you see, okay, every piece plays such an important part in this whole operation. You can't neglect any one of them. So that's why the structure was very important. I think that if you have no corporate experience whatsoever and you just run in guns blazing head first, trying to start your own business, you'll be like, yeah, okay, this is going to work. This is a great product. Then you realize, okay, how you don't realize that, how am I going to market this? How do I fulfill the last mile?
Yeah.
How do I even get the cash flow on financials?
Ongoing,
How do I do all these things? You don't think about it until you're there. But having that corporate background allowed me to see all those pieces and so-called segment myself into these different roles as I planned out the business.
Okay. So this is, you are talking from the perspective of you being a business owner.
Yep.
But if let's say today you were to become a financial advisor or a real estate agent, having known what you have known from your corporate background, what do you think you can implement from there to being a self-employed? rather than running your own business.
Right. Okay. I think that using a corporate structure, right, is applicable, right, of how you run your life. Running your life like a business, right, is quite useful because you can rid yourself, when it comes to critical decisions, rid yourself of the emotion so that you can make the best decision possible, right? And basically that allows you to so-called suck it up, even if you don't like it.
Yeah.
You have to disagree with yourself, suck it up, and go, okay, if this week I must eat cai peng 5 times a day, 5 times a week, God, 5 times a day, you'll be dead. Sorry, 5 times a week, okay, and I have to skip meals just to get that done because I need to save this amount of money. Or I need to run 2 jobs. My current thing, and if I have downtime, I must do Lala Move. Or I do, some delivery job somewhere.
Yeah.
If I need to do that, right, just to make ends meet, I have to do it. So why? It's because you're keeping yourself afloat. So if you run that as a business, in that sense, you rid yourself of, again, those emotions. It helps to make a better decision. Yeah. So I think that for financial agents, insurance agents, financial planners, and all those who are self-employed, knowing that your time is so precious, understanding that time is money and value, and understanding how you can better, again, sell your product, market yourself, operationalize your time for efficiency, using the right tools, you can actually develop yourself much better when you see it in those different facets of a corporate structure. Yeah.
So what you're saying is if you have a proper structure, especially down to your day and your hours, it will be much easier for you to operate at the maximum level.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, you have to have some flexibilities and also understand that there's this thing called ENT that's very important, right? You got to entertain people. You got to go out there and network with people. So again, that's all part of time management, all part of cash flow, money, time, effort. How do you also improve your network? A lot of these things come in. It's all running a business. It's all like running a business.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like how we behave in our lives are actually compartmentalized with different departments.
Yes.
Sales, operations, management. So it's totally makes sense into how you mentioned structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is the base of everything that you learn from the corporate side. How about other sides of other industries?
Other industries. Pause a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so other industries, right? Telesales was one of the best experiences that I had.
Wow.
Because it was one of the worst experiences that I've had. Okay. Because it teaches you tenacity, resilience, and determination just to constantly do the things that you don't like. But it also teaches you to talk to so many different people that you don't know, build a rapport with them in 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
Right. And get them to say that and understand good phone etiquette that will allow you to have a good conversation. So many a times, right, on the phone, we were all taught, how do you push your product? How do you do this? How do you do that? This is how you sell. This is the 7-step sales process. This is the 9-step sales process, 14-step sales process. I don't know how many steps you take, but it all fails if you can't even build rapport with the person and ask them for permission to even speak with them. Is this a good time to speak with you? Hey, are you, I got your number from so-and-so. Is it okay if we have a quick conversation about this? You got 30 seconds?
I see.
Simple things like that. It's opening the door. So that's what I learned so much from there. And learning how to be very clear about your close on the sales part, right? Is that, okay, you have to be almost shameless to confirm somebody saying, okay, instead of saying, hey, would you like to buy this thing or not? It's like, okay, I've got 2 more. Would you like to take them?
Wow. Scarcity.
Yeah, you have to just do that, right? And be very clear about the outcome. All right, now we're going to talk about whether or not you want to take this or not. Okay, so I'm going to ask you real straightforward. We've had a great conversation, but I got to know. I've only got two seats left. Would you like to take them? Because if not, I've got a colleague right now who's really selling them right now, and I would really like you to have them. It sounds like you really want them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Right? It's a bit Wolf of Wall Street-ish, I know. But
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a good segue. I think we go on to the next part and we will break down on how you actually do a proper call because I think this will be beneficial for our listeners, especially those who are really starting out in whichever business that they are in. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for listening for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 as Edric expand more into this topic. Take care.